Respectfully, I really appreciate the callback.
Well, how are you, Aaron?
I'm doing really shitty, as anybody in my position would be. I mean, after I seen what the fuck that was, bud, that's terrifying. I definitely am not trying to upset or cause liability for anybody like you guys in your position. I never have. I've never have, you know. Even in our engagements originally, I was trying to express, I was like, why is a municipality going to somehow try and shift liability off? I have zero intention to try to escalate anything, dude. I've literally been just trying to make sure that I have the chance and equitable opportunity that anybody else, as a citizen of this country, to have some quality of life where I'm not being fucked with. I provided you guys documentation of what it was wild when I figured out that you guys are all in the same entity. The fact that I had to shoot you guys documentation that the party that's in charge, who just got promoted to be in charge of professional and standards for Santa Cruz County, well, Julie's witnessed that he even tried to have an officer who wasn't a professional and standards officer conceal my complaint. That same officer I provided, and I've shown you guys that in 2021, he knew that Anita Gabriel was in breach of restraining order for a year and actively had defrauded court yet again in my name. And I was incurring nothing but false reporting against me while I was in Santa Cruz as well, while my identity had reverted back to Los Angeles. I didn't do anything wrong, and even that's why I appreciate you calling me back. I was trying to communicate to you, like, look at the position that I'm actually in. No one's supposed to be there. If someone that's accountable for themselves, trying to be responsible and trying to make sure that they remain safe, my next move escalates liabilities for other parties. For me, the reality is I've demonstrated before, just like when Dimmick decided in 2016 to not rescind or restrict the felony probation that I was on after the court ordered so, because I had to call the DA up in Santa Cruz because Anita, my mom, Scientologist Goofy, was stalking me still while we had a restraining order. I pled out a felony case because I got extradited up there because she was stalking me and was doing welfare checks. The welfare check found that I was fine. I just didn't want to answer the phone to her. And so the cop then ran me for warrants. He's like, oh, this is fucked up. This is dirty. I was like, what? He's like, well, you have a warrant. Apparently she's a victim. So I pled out to that case after 3 months and, you know what I mean, on trial. No one's trying to hear me out or whatever. I didn't care because I figured that the worst case scenario is I'm going to have restraining orders. That means me and her don't engage anymore. Good. So then she starts escalating, continuing to call in welfare checks. So I had to call the DA in Santa Cruz. I was like, sir, look, as a convict, you know I'm not supposed to engage with you. But look, man, I'm trying my best to comply, but she's demanding that I violate the restraining order and call her, or she's going to call welfare checks on me. He heard me out. He goes, that's rational and fair. Let me contact her and see what's going on. Dude called me back in a couple hours and was like, I am so sorry. Mr. Fanning, that felony case is being rescinded and struck, and because she has made it clear she is not going to stop. Somehow the sheriff's department there feels it's appropriate to breach court order, subjecting me to 170 days habeas corpus, where for some reason my DOJ jacket reads that I'm an active gang member. Yet I've never had any set affiliation or gang affiliation. So I get sent to the fucking tombs to high security threat risk and being active gang member with no squad. So that's vile that man's done that to me. Then in 2021, when I get up there, concurrently, while we know what people like Carol and people, you know what I'm saying, some very important people with National Lawyers Guild and Bar, well aware that I'm somehow going through court being refused any criminal defense, and I was facing 64 counts, which actually were Carol Sobel's entities counts for violations at their developments. To solve all, so again, I never went after Santa Cruz for even doing the time. I didn't care. I'm trying to get safe from my family that's wacky. So what happened in Santa Rosa can be easily resolved and amicably for everybody by that truck that, well, you know, they don't want to take this internal affairs report. Let's be clear. It's going to be a year and a couple weeks here from them converting property out from underneath me, the police, by going ahead and asking for a release of title from someone that's not the property owner. and running it through California DMV. So getting compensated appropriately for my missing vehicle and my tools that were in it, that's an easy one for us to get into submission there for a tort where it's not a big issue. As far as Santa Cruz is concerned, yeah, it's really fucked up what they've done. The point of the matter is that all of this simply reverts very easily. Liability all falls back on Anita Gabriel, who's been false reporting for decades. I don't know what else to do, man. I'm in a really wild position to where I have to call. I spoke with Michael in 2021 when Dimmick was doing that to me. You guys just didn't happen to mitigate for the sheriff's office yet at that point, but you guys were for Santa Cruz police. He even called me back. He talked to me. I've never wanted to dig into any of this. None of this is my business, cares, or concerns. This has all been escalated because I've just been taking the appropriate steps as a civilian to try to make sure that my rights were respected and I was being treated fairly. Please realize that this all falls back to Santa Monica and Santa Monica PD, because Santa Monica administrations were the ones that put me into, with defrauded Section 8 vouchers, put me into an apartment in Venice Beach to be harmed. Because I'm accountable, smart, not a sucker, don't hang out with dope fiends, and desperately was trying to use this opportunity because I got found with magically I got assaulted where people knew I was and I couldn't get a report in and yeah, all that good shit. So I'm recovering from facial reconstruction, trying to avoid all these programs because I don't really think it's great what they're doing to the communities, and I don't want to be associated with fucking drug addicts and homeless people. I got involved with St. Joseph's because I'm being led to believe that this is a scalable system to make sure that you can become become a contributing member of the community and society, that you scale in. The only reason I was mildly interested in it. So what ends up happening in St. Joseph's, the game, what they do, and they've signed me up to 4 different entities because, well, they're HIPAA claims. Not my fault I pay attention to this. They sign me up with a laced up jaw. They go, oh, he's worth this, and this. Don't care. And that was their fault for presuming that I wasn't cognate, let alone competent, that I can speak or I get really fucking loud. I was overt with all of them. They knew from the start I'm a Scientologist. I don't play with a lot of the games they played with. They didn't disclose that I didn't qualify for Medi-Cal. I don't qualify for Medicare because, as Scientology knows, there's been a lot of funds attached to my name as far as the federal government even knows. So I don't qualify. They didn't disclose that to me. So while I'm in their care and custody, suddenly my trauma claim lapses on my jaw, and I end up with my jaw shut for 9 fucking months. I'm starving to death, legitimately, because for some reason, Harbor UCLA thought it was appropriate not to prescribe me food. And when it gets prescribed, St. Joseph's keeps losing it because they're playing with mail that they shouldn't be playing with. So, irregardless, I start to get upset because, yo, you guys have now caused my trauma claim to lapse after 9 months. My jaw's laced shut. I'm down to 115 pounds, starving to fuck to death in a hotel room that I see as a Fed voucher. Yo, I used to pay taxes. I want to be paying taxes again. They're getting $141 a night for a room. Why do I have a 3-inch open sewer line? Why is there no fucking heater? Why is my water temperature 89 degrees in January when I'm recovering from facial reconstruction surgery? Suddenly, I don't even have a trauma claim to make sure I can get the wires out of my fucking mouth. So I got upset. I did what the appropriate thing was, and I reported to the public health department, and I made sure that hospitals and institutions knew about what happened with Harbor UCLA lapsing me out, what happened with St. Joseph's, and I made sure to go ahead and read all of the codes, so made sure I had full command because I saw shit. Made sure I knew that, oh, look at Santa Monica. You want to fuck with me? Well, per your own fucking charter, I qualify as a resident because of the time that I've been there. They don't supply any linens. So, yep, sure enough, public health department finds that I'm in those conditions. They cite the landlord. I'm on a Fed voucher, emergency voucher. This is not okay. St. Joseph's solution and Santa Monica administration was to have me locked off the property. So I filed with the city, hey, I would have been illegally evicted. They didn't like that. Because, well, they fund St. Joseph's, and I understand I built a sculpture for Santa Monica just years before, so I had gone through the fiscals. I understand what the budgeting is. I understand what happened when they converted everything to tech. I understand that what the discretionary funds are and the undiscretionary funds, because I had to figure out how to estimate a quote for a bronze sculpture. So again, while I'm dealing with them, they're trying to play games with me, playing this, oh, we're not seeing, somehow systems, all these software systems never register my complaints. So then finally I document, I was like, no, it's in your system. Then they have the balls to send me a letter on letterhead from the city attorney stating that they don't think that I qualify, but they mandated that I stay in touch with my social workers because they got me a voucher. I get put in that apartment and I'm not given contracts, and I'm very, very much trying to be accountable and responsible, and fuck, I want this opportunity. I fought for this opportunity to be heard. I got myself safe. They're giving me an apartment now because they did me wrong and had me in that shithole, endangering my life some more. Cool. So then I have the audacity to be like, yo, where's the contracts? I really want the contracts. Why did I want the contracts? Because I wanted to make sure I knew what my obligations were so I could succeed. So I could scale the fuck back into society and not be a burden on anybody else, because I also felt completely wrong and being enabled to have suddenly I have an apartment when I knew that there's way more qualified people that really need and deserve that housing. I needed some support and help, but there's people that need that shit way before me. Then they got upset because, well, I realized no one's taking my reporting and we want to fuck around, as happened in Sonoma County, and why Ronit had to step down from legal aid, because I was able to point out that, interesting, in all the counties in Los Angeles, people that run legal aid seem to think it's appropriate to be the legal advisors for all the NGOs and nonprofits that have the same shared clients. How did I figure that out? Because Legal Aid Los Angeles sent me a letter on their letterhead claiming that they've conflicted with me with their congressional funding because they're somehow representing a corporate entity, my landlord. Yeah, so real wild shit what I've been subjected to. That's why things I report as I report. So while I was in Santa Cruz, there was an APS started with Sarah Snyder. Never talked to her again. She gets alerted September 4th at 2 p.m. by Ken Tassel, Sonoma's privacy officer, Scientologist goofy fuck, who we have long conversations about my inheritance, and him admitting to what Scientology's been doing for that inheritance for very long. Called her and the privacy officer for Santa Cruz County. That's a HIPAA violation on its own. They have zero business engaging. James Dyer decided not to notify Ken Tassel. You have no business contacting any healthcare provider in my county at talking about any potential clients. If I was or wasn't, that was a privacy breach. But instead, what ends up happening is my reporting, all of my calls for service with Santa Cruz and Watsonville keeps getting closed out, even though my mom had an online report about these threats. I'm given a police report number by Santa Cruz. Do you know what that report actually reflects? I'm stalking and threatening Sarah Snyder's life. The call for the terroristic threats that I've been incurring for 10 months at that point, yeah, they go vanishing. Then there's a second report because September 8th and September 10th, they escalate, demanding I either kill myself or I be ready to be in prison for the rest of my life with a dick in my ass. I don't do these things. I don't get scared. I get fucking pissed. Everybody keeps fucking with me, but I was literally raised and fully trained, have nothing else to fall back on but tech. And I never knew it was weird because that was my normal. So the amount of shit that I endure and eat, yeah, normally people will freak out and start screaming and crying. It didn't happen with me and you. We know that. We know that, yeah, it's not great, the conversations we had, because what the city of Santa Rosa has done has thus now tried to essentially document that their engagements with your entity is essentially what you guys are there for, is to pocket hide all of the civil complaints about cops. Because you guys end up not being a city entity. So we can't pull that SEPRA, right? None of this shit is shit that I want to focus on. Do you understand that for years, all I'd care about was cars and paint? All of this I was forced to learn just to try to survive. That I have to call LA DA office indicating that, yo, I really recognize it's what's not well fucking hidden. I've done it time and time again, repeatedly, because that's what I was fucking raised in, unfortunately. I want to pay attention to zero of it. Dude, as soon as I saw, the address of registry, dude, my fucking heart stopped. The last 24 hours has been great. Feds are now gonna fucking kill me. If they're not feds, there's definitely something to do with the state that's not appropriate and on par exactly. Do I care? No, I just care that for some reason I end up dealing with you guys. I'm supposed to be some street worthless piece of shit. But you contacted me directly to cover for Santa Rosa. Because as we know, anything that's already happened should have definitely been documented and have reported already. Again, none of it's my concern. I'm not trying to police you guys. I'm not trying to police what the fuck happens, how cops act. And every time even though I was refused service by LAPD, smart enough that I at least left commendations, and they all actually indicate that, yeah, I was refused service, but at least, I was halfway respectful. I'm the reason, let's not joke ourselves, I'm the reason that they had to pull the last, captain for internal affairs with LAPD. Why? Because the ex-LAWA assistant chief of police was allowing me to be beyond abused by Frank Shin, who was running around fucking Venice claiming to be an LAPD detective and concealing all the reporting. All I did was pay attention, just trying to make sure I'm safe. So yeah, Santa Rosa can resolve amicably with a simple tort filed. I have no problem pulling an NDA, and I have no problem pulling any things of concern that has caused anybody any kind of issue. I'm amicable to that shit. Literally all I want is to be able to be on a fucking property safe and not have to worry about at any fucking moment I get to be fucking killed for no reason. That I'm not allowed to report, as I tried to report originally, I wasn't even trying to report against my life. I didn't give a fuck. I was trying to make sure that, people are threatening my mom's life. Everybody has that right. I'm not supposed to incur that cops think it's appropriate and are telling me it sounds like a scam, or that can't be a telephonic threat, even though I've taken the fucking case before. The idiot reads off the case law to me, and clearly, well, that's why you're not qualified to mitigate fucking law. You're a secretary with a fucking gun. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. I'm not wrong. People just don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I've never done anything wrong since 2001, and me watching the chaos and fucking harm and carnage to what my ignorant fucking childhood little kid fucking self thought was, we're having fun, we're doing good together, we're all fucking winning. No, I paid. It fucked me up deeply. I had to retread all of my ethics, everything, to make sure that, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to leave a mark on the fucking world for, was just contributing. That's why my dumbass ran down and was on Pimp My Ride during 2 consecutive federal indictments. Because I realized the fucking disgusting harm done. Not my losses. I walked. Everything else around me, me enabling other people to fuck up, that hurt me. So I've spent every fucking moment since 2001 trying to assure that I was compliant. I might have fucked around with gray area a little bit, but no. Nothing in any fucking harmful, dangerous way. That's why Hal Levy, interim judge for West Courts, started as my lawyer, then decided it was not appropriate for us to have that professional relationship. Then we're business associates, and he's my business advisor, and he pays me to review business plans because he'd give me the legal torts that he'd need to figure out how to avoid. And I could do it. I don't know why the fucking public at large, in some reasons it's good, but the public at large is retarded. They obviously don't know how to deal with law, or what the fuck law is. They see a law, they're like, that's some all-encompassing field force. It's a fucking very, very overt fucking direct line that still has some mitigation for some, interpretation of. So, my bad that I've used law to my advantage, but I wasn't harming anything. Like Levy, the reason he flipped on me, the original reason he started paying me and wanted me reviewing shit, he flipped out because his girlfriend at the time Peggy Chin she's a fucking plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. Bummy broke. Barely can cover her expenses. She can't get an ROI for nothing with her cost of staffing, rent, her location, Beverly Hills, all of her insurance, all of this shit. Broker than broke. Living in Marina Del Rey. And so I asked her, I go, hey, Peggy, I was like, hey, would you possibly consider doing like a clinic for me? And how I was there, and he kind of got miffy and shit. And like, she's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, yo, could I, I could use, I can definitely get you bodies in a place if you're willing to kind of, go ahead and review these clients and see if they qualify for fucking medical script. She was all excited. Hal Levy freaked the fuck out. He goes, no, especially with me and my record. She's like, she cannot be partnered with you. It's a breach of fucking HIPAA. It's privacy concerns. I just looked at him and go, is there a problem if I do a commission-based lease? Beat everything, didn't I? Sure as fuck did. And that's why you saw those get propagated all over the fucking state. I'm a brilliant motherfucker at times because I just look at things different. So again, Santa Cruz can get mitigated, be it either they want to take a look at Anita Gabriel, because again, I don't even have a problem with Dimmick. She's using him. Everybody else has this problem where people start blaming everybody else. I've been very clear. My issue is Anita Gabriel has now caused officers to cause me harm. It's not my fault, the liability that they incurred because he acted as he has. But it is in my position and interest to go, oh, I get it. As I've told them repeatedly, I actually appreciate you guys trying to be concerned about an elderly lady making wild allegations. But let's be fair. Let's be equitable here. Let's make this stop. It can stop. Do I care if Patrick Dimmick continues to do what he does? No. Why? Because I have zero interest in being in that fucking county ever. Why? Because it's wildly dangerous. Why is it wildly dangerous? Because they don't play fair. And I'm not trying to do anything that would be outside of the field of, I'm really just trying to be a civilian as fuck. Like, civilian as it gets. It's not my fault that literally, you have officers for SRPD asking me to be a confidential, me not even being all that comfortable with it, but like, fuck, like if that's what it takes, like, I need to get out of this fucking county. These motherfuckers have had me blow up and they've stuck me with a $180,000 medical bill and are pissed because I asked for them to cover it because they had someone else die on another facility the year before. Santa Monica, like I said, the sad thing is that Sonoma, reason Ronit had to step down is because what her dirty ass staff did, and I gave him the ROI, and I was like, yeah, please contact LA Housing Authority and HUD, and let's find out where my Section 8 voucher is, because that never got resolved appropriately. Let's see where it is, because I need to get fucking safe. I can't get to a mandated reporter for some reason. Do you know that Ronit decided to try to defraud a forgery with a release of information to engage with Venice Community Housing? Of all entities to go to, definitely the one that I'd be like, yeah, don't fucking talk to them, because those are the ones in the Sarah Snyder APS report. Do you know that they gave me a letterheaded letter back stating that, I never had a Section 8 voucher. What I had, even though I hold Section 8 HUD contracts, what I had was community-funded Section 8 certificate. That they had great interest in me getting my voucher to stay in touch with them so they could help in any way possible. Suddenly, that was in November. Suddenly the threats start.
So, Aaron, I'm gonna stop you there. You've been talking for a little while now, and I understand you've been, frustrated waiting to get back in touch with anybody. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk. A couple things for starters, right? One, I absolutely am a colleague of Julie Rulin and Mike Giannacco, but I can tell you I don't have any direct dealings with Santa Cruz County, so I'm really not able to.
I understand that. Let's stop there. I get that. I'm not asking for your assistance in Santa Cruz County.
I'm just making it clear because.
Hold on, Stephen. Okay, I'm not asking you for that.
Aaron,
hold on.
Aaron.
No.
Aaron.
No.
You've been talking for 25 minutes.
Good. And I'm good. And my point of that, bringing that up, I understand that you can't help me out with Santa Cruz County. The problem is that this falls back to your guys' entity, concurrently this happening with multiple agencies. Again, I don't need your guys' help. What needs to happen is we need to try to come to some amicable solution because I'm in the liability I've always been. It ain't going to change. The only thing that possibly changes is liability for other entities and interests. Again, that would be you guys.
So, Aaron, no one's trying to stop you from exercising any of the rights that you have, including pursuing any liability claims.
Okay, and again, I'm trying to explain to you that I'm not saying that anybody's... I'm telling you that no one's obstructing me from that, Stephen. The issue of concern... The issue of concern is that while no one's obstructing me from doing that, I have no interest in that. Being forced to do that because I'm being restricted and being stripped of my civil rights and victims' rights is a different situation. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to make sure that this can end. Now, I understand that you're saying that you can't help me out with Santa Cruz. That's cool. You can help me out with Santa Rosa.
Aaron, I'm going to say a few things now, and if you interrupt me again, I'm just going to hang up because it doesn't seem like we're making a lot of progress.
That's fine.
So what I want to tell you is that yes, Santa Rosa is my direct responsibility, and depending on what you're trying to accomplish in Santa Rosa, we've talked back and forth about what your options are. The last time we talked, you were very concerned, and I totally appreciate this, because you got some confusing information from the city that there is no professional standards, and it was obviously kind of off-putting and troubling to you. It didn't make any sense. I told you at that point there absolutely is a professional standards person and an office. I deal with the person who runs it on a regular basis. And if you wanted to articulate a specific complaint of officer misconduct for that department to investigate, it absolutely will do that.
Sure, now, and that's what we went through last time.
Aaron, that will lead to an internal investigation into officer misconduct. But what that wouldn't necessarily accomplish is any direct benefit to you in terms of some of the concerns that you've been expressing about your safety and about losses.
No, that's not true.
And everything else.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but that's not true. It's not. I will not validate that. I don't have to validate that. I will acknowledge having heard it, but I don't.
Aaron, I'm just trying to.
Hold on, dude. I was being really fair there. I'm being really fair there. I'm being fair. So what I'm trying to say is I don't agree with about as far as me pursuing, internal affairs. We know that hold on, please. We know that I have requested it repeatedly. I have the recorded conversation about it. So again, I've requested that. Again, as far as Santa Rosa, to get it absolved and resolved, because it is a concern, because you have not had that officer contact me directly. Our last conversation, you even made sure to clarify. You're like, so what you need to have him actually engage with you directly and then provide you a copy of that complaint. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So that never happened. We also know that my reporting's not happening. Again, as far as Santa Rosa and as far as any agency that's involved with the agency that you are the agent of service for, right? I'm asking you guys to go, hey, what are we going to do here, guys? So I'm saying that we can resolve. Again, let me finish this one sentence. So we can resolve.
Be contacted by a Santa Rosa professional standards investigator.
Because it's been a year since they converted my car out from underneath me. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. And okay. If not, what'd be better and easier for everybody, amicably, is I can just go ahead and file a tort for the converted car. And then,
which you are absolutely welcome.
Cool, and I appreciate that. Okay, and at that, as far as my concerns with me needing to have to get on record, that can get mitigated with that resolution. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm inferring. Now, I do have contention with your associate at that firm that's not really a firm, Julie. So someone's going to have to contact me back so that can get to some type of Because, boy, what's in that exchange, you know, from the start, you realize that they just tried to kick me off to here file a tort because they knew I was being harmed and victimized. So I was being allowed to be subjected to more threats, demanding I kill myself for further extortion. So I'm asking respectfully, because I will respectfully just go ahead and file that tort about the truck. We can see what happens. I'm asking respectfully that someone contacts me about the inappropriate, documented through Santa Cruz's email, engagements where she's witnessing me being handed defrauded internal affairs investigations documents with no CF attached, where she's witnessing the party that's in charge of all professional standards, DIMIC, acknowledging to having been allowing willfully restraining orders to be breached one-sided because he only enforces things that he feels like he should. It'd be a bad thing that that I actually documented Chris Clark while he was the last professional standards officer. Oh, me telling him about this in January and February of 21, begging him to yo, please, let's make sure that Anita Gabriel is not allowed to continue to harm me.
Okay, Aaron, I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to make sure that a Santa Rosa investigator contacts you, and it may be a day or two, but I will see to it that happens. And two, I will contact my colleague Julie and let her know that you and I have spoken and that you have ongoing concerns in Santa Cruz. Okay?
Oh, she knows that.
Well, then I will again just let her know that you and I spoke today.
Okay, and then what again? Here's what we're going to do. So I will go ahead and file that tort for my truck in Santa Rosa.
Okay.
Hopefully that just works its appropriate course and everybody's resolved there, as I've demonstrated in the past the amount of abuse that I incur and will eat and smile and grin. As far as Julie in Santa Cruz is concerned, someone needs to call me back and engage with me because it's now clear that Santa Cruz itself is maliciously out compliance here. We don't need to document what's in that documentation between me and Julie. That's all bad, which she's allowed. It literally doesn't even, any of it passes.
Again, Aaron,
you got to understand, here, let me put it this way. Her introduction email to me.
Aaron, but somebody will be following up with you, okay?
Her introduction email states that systemically she apologizes for the 4 months of abuse that I incurred because systemically y'all's software don't work and you just found the one. Then I ask her, hey, can you find the other 3? No response. So it's not good. Appreciate the call. Let's have another call in 2 days.
Okay, goodbye, Aaron.
Does that sound like a plan, Stephen?
Well, again, why don't you wait until you hear from Santa Rosa Police?
Why would I because I've been waiting for over a year and a half. Why would I wait for them?
Okay.
Santa Rosa Police can already, again, fuck them. That can get mitigated with the truck that they owe me. That can resolve the problems that you've concealed. That can resolve the problems that you have not taken steps to make sure that they're accountable for. As far as Julie, that can happen also. So let's talk in 2 days.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. I'll send you a copy of this call.